Orlando City back to the playoffs for the 5th year in a row, but the job's not done for the Lions. 2 games this week, Philadelphia home, Cincinnati away, as they try to secure home field advantage in the first round of the MLS Cup playoffs. Let's put 10 minutes on the clock and get you set for this week's action. At number 1, we got to start with the headlining news. Orlando City has clinched a playoff berth. 5 consecutive seasons in the postseason. Oscar Pareja, a perfect 5 for 5 as Orlando City manager, taking the team back to the postseason. Orlando City is one of only 3 teams, as of this recording, to go to the playoffs 5 years in a row. An incredible turnaround from the first 5 years of the club's history to now, where Orlando is a consistent playoff team. The next step will be achieving more once they get there. They can put themselves in much better position to do so this week. At number 2, the job not done, and everyone acknowledging that in the Orlando City dressing room. But the team did take some time to reflect and enjoy the accomplishment. Love this photo of everybody gathered in the locker room celebrating the 5 years in a row for Orlando City reaching the postseason. Oscar Pareja, after the game, remarking on his team's achievement.
We're so excited, and we have a lot of gratitude with the club, with the fans that have supported us this year. Then one more time we qualified for the playoffs. As a credit for that group of players that had a big heart and a big love for the club too, and a lot of passion for what they do. So I'm very happy. It's a special night today, coming here to Dallas in a very difficult city to play against, and we won, scored 3 goals. I thought we played an excellent 75 minutes, and the reaction of Dallas in the last part was very good as well. Complicated game, but we finally clinched, and that was the first objective, and we're happy.
Number 3, how did they get there? Well, let's show you. FC Dallas this past weekend, a big game for Oscar Pareja, going back and playing in front of a full house for the first time since leaving FC Dallas 6 years ago. And he left with 3 points in a playoff berth. 18th minute, Ramiro Enrique gets a cross from Rafa Santos, makes no mistake. Beautiful diving header at the near post. Lovely play from Orlando City. 5 guys in the 6-yard box as they put that ball in from Rafa Santos, and it's Enrique who gets his 9th goal in all competitions this season, rewarding Oscar Pareja for handing in the start. It was 1-0 at the break. Second half, Orlando City would blow the game wide open. First off, Rodrigo Schlegel, just his 3rd goal ever for the club on the corner from Martin Ojeda. Brilliant ball, brilliant finish. Great for Rodri, who's been spectacular on this late run once again down the stretch here in 2024. Schlegel makes it 2-0, and then shortly after that, chaotic sequence. Ramiro Enrique comes up with the ball. Baku Torres scores his 17th goal of the year in all competitions. An historic goal. More on that in just a moment, as Orlando City would go 3-0 up. Dallas would make it a little bit interesting, a late penalty and some late chances, but Orlando City seeing the game out, a 3-1 final as the Lions go into the postseason and into 4th place in the standings on 46 points. Number 4, we mentioned how historic that Facundo Torres goal was. It makes sense that it's number 4 because it was number 44 for Facundo Torres as a Lion. That ties him with Kyle Larin for the most goals in Orlando City history. That record has stood since the inaugural season. Larin was the leading goal scorer that year. He left the club in 2017 as the leading goal scorer. Now he shares that honor with Facundo Torres. Torres has 5 goals and 1 assist in his last 5 MLS games. Odds are he's going to end up on top of those charts by the end of the year. Number 5, we got to talk about what this team is doing overall. The goal-scoring production has been remarkable. Through the first 17 games this season, Orlando City only scored 17 goals. They were near the bottom of the league in offensive production at just a goal a game. Over their last 14 MLS games, they've scored 36 goals. They have multiple goals in 12 of 14 games, and now sit just 2 goals behind the club's single-season record. They're at 53, the record's 55. They've got 3 games to break it, and at the rate they're going, they're going to break it in their next game on Wednesday night. A truly stunning turnaround, even more so than last year when Orlando exploded in the second half. This has been an historic rise of offense for Orlando City. Number 6, we'll take a look at the Eastern Conference standings. Orlando City in 4th place. They are 2 points ahead of both the New York Red Bulls and NYCFC, who pantsed the Red Bulls 5-1 at Red Bull Arena in the Hudson River Derby this past weekend. So Orlando controls their own destiny for 4th place. If they win out, they're guaranteed to have it. They can drop some points and still be all right depending on what happens in some of the other games. But the point is that if you get into 4th, you will be at home for at least 2 of the 3 best-of-3 first-round games, including the final one if it comes to that. 7 of the 8 teams that hosted in the first round last year advanced, including Orlando City. Meanwhile, Philadelphia, Orlando's opponent, is right on the line. They're in 9th place, trying to get into one of those wild card spots after a brutal start to the season. They are holding off Atlanta, Montreal, Nashville's still in the mix as well. Toronto's up there. DC United going to be a wild race towards the end of the Eastern Conference. If there's a team that's been as good offensively as Orlando City, you might have guessed maybe Inter Miami or the Columbus Crew. It's really been the Philadelphia Union over the last few months. They were left for dead, like Orlando, near the bottom of the standings back in the summer. They have risen up the charts and actually went all the way to the Leagues Cup semifinals on the backs of a striker that they didn't really expect to play for them. Ty Baribo signed last summer. Jim Curtin made public comments about his lack of work ethic in training, didn't get on the field until the spring, got his first start on June 19th. That was 19 games ago. He has 16 goals in those 19 games, arguably the hottest striker in all of MLS, 9 in the league, 7 in Leagues Cup. Orlando City will have to shut down Baribo here at home Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. on MLS Season Pass. At number 8, we'll turn our attention to Saturday against FC Cincinnati at TQL Stadium. FC Cincinnati, Supporter Shield winners last year, a team that is widely expected to be among the MLS Cup contenders this year. They've slipped a little bit over the last couple of months, though. Of the last 8 home matches, they've lost 4 of them, including this past weekend against LAFC. That has cost them 2nd place in the Eastern Conference. Columbus has passed them. Going into Wednesday night, the Crew have a point on Cincinnati and a game in hand. That means Cincy would have to go to Columbus if those 2 teams were to meet in the conference semis. Orlando, by the way, did win in Cincinnati last year, a 1-0 victory as part of their incredible post-Leagues Cup run in 2023. We were denied a chance to see a rematch in the playoffs, but we'll get one this weekend at TQL. At number 9, we can't talk about Cincinnati without talking about Luciano Acosta. We won't mention unpleasantries here, but suffice to say, the dude is still really good. 3 consecutive seasons for the reigning MVP where he has gone double-digit goals and assists. He's got 12 goals and 19 assists this year, helping to carry a Cincinnati team that has had a defensive injury crisis. Matt Miazga out for the year, needed some emergency signings at the back. They're missing Nick Hagglund as well, but Acosta still helping Cincinnati push towards a strong playoff berth and a chance to win their first ever MLS Cup. Number 10, we'll be doing this the rest of the year. Games to watch as Orlando City heads for the top 4. Remember, they're 2 points up on the New York teams. The Red Bulls are at Toronto, who have to win. They're in that mix for the 8-9 spots with Philadelphia and Montreal, DC, Atlanta. So that's a big spot for the Red Bulls, who just got destroyed 5-1 by their rivals this past weekend. That NYCFC team needed that win desperately. They're up to 44 points in 5th. They are hosting FC Cincinnati. So the hope would be that Orlando could get a favor from their Saturday opponents on Wednesday. Also, still have to keep an eye on Charlotte FC. They're on 42 points after drawing in Fort Lauderdale last weekend. They are hosting Chicago. That's a game they really need to win if they have any hope of reaching 4th place. Well, there you have it. There's a ton going on, but ultimately Orlando City's fate is in their own hands, or at their own feet, I suppose, and they've been taking that fate by the scruff of the neck over the past several months. They play Philadelphia at Inter & Co Stadium this Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m., and then at FC Cincinnati on Saturday night at 7:30. Those games will both air on MLS Season Pass.
Lodeno this time serving it to Maguire! Equalizing goal! It's Big Dunk on the score sheet again! 5th goal of the season to lead Orlando. Out to Luis Muriel to run in McGlynn and cut inside Luis Muriel! That is a screamer of a first goal in Major League Soccer for Luis Muriel! Muriel in for his second. Muriel! 20 seconds into the second half. This is what he was brought in to do. Here's Gazdag again, save from Galese. Gazdag on the follow is over. For the first time in MLS, Daniel Gazdag has had a penalty saved. might just have won 3.